welcome everyone to our episode 47 of our section of Drops of Wisdom. In today's section, in today's Wednesday of Reflections, we are going to discuss about the book of the 5 elements of effective thinking by the author Edward B. Borger, and we are going to speak about the topic of how can you enhance the way you are thinking or the way you think. Being afraid of making mistakes or asking questions that might be dumb is something that we are very in position in our school setting in the education, and that fact can deprive us of learning experiences that are the ingredients of developing bigger ideas and of course of creating neural pathways that are going to help us to not just take the information as they give it to us, but to reflect more and to make much more interesting questions. We learn not to ask too much questions when we are very young, when in fact our inquisitive nature is what needs to evolve to lead us to a higher thinking brain, to a brain that is more reflective, and to a brain that is not mediocre or just conformist to the things that we are absorbing through our senses and through social media or news information. First, let's consider the basic elements of a task, how to resolve the task, and how can you begin this kind of thinking with anything that you want in your life. If you just see the goal or the task or the milestone very big and you don't divide it into little pieces, well, that is going to be very overwhelming and you can even not attempt to solve anything. Instead, what you can do is just divide the thing into very little small pieces that you can spread throughout your days and solve each element successfully. There is also another way to find essence of the problem, to focus on what is missing. Many times we are not being given the whole information of the things, and now I think this is the most crucial moment where we are not given all the information and we need to ask further questions, and we need to also start getting into the perception of the things that we are receiving and asking much better questions. We all can have bad days, and yet what distinguishes the great thinkers from the average thinker is not the absence of bad days or problems. It's the way a great thinker reacts to them and how they occur or when they occur. This is a crucial lesson. Whenever you make a mistake, make sure that you are having time to reflect on what happened, what were the lessons that were given to you as a result of the problem or the failure, and what you can do with that is that your accomplishments will be built on the lessons previously learned, and the mistakes are the foundation and the basis for most effective lessons. Locate your weaknesses to test your mastery, to see exactly how well you have mastered the subject's basics. What can you do to really know that you are learning something? This is something that in the school setting or in education setting happens a lot. It is not about having a good grade in a subject or just passing an exam. It is more about what you really know and how you digest the information, and even further steps are how you teach the information. What can you do to help your mind to assess the knowledge and to start integrating that knowledge into your experience? Something that is extremely simple. You can just take a piece of blank paper, a sheet of blank paper, and you can start writing everything you know about the topic, and don't stop until you get a timer setting or of about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever it is, depending of course on the amount of the information that you have, and later compare that writing that you did with the knowledge that it is in the books or in the articles or in the reference that you use to study. In doing so, you will discover what are the weaknesses in terms of understanding the basic information that you are consuming. And you will start doing a much better job in terms of asking questions or um, paying attention to certain key aspects of the information. And that's what I used to do when I was in school. I used to do synthesize very in a small amount of information in 1 page or 2 pages maximum, the whole topic that I was going to be tested after. So when you do that, just the exercise of writing and testing your knowledge is going to give you a lot of grasping on the topic, and you will feel the confidence that you are mastering the things that you are learning. Often our expectations get in the way of discovering the essence of an issue or problem. Why? Because we don't question enough, because other people are going to start thinking if we are slow learners or something, or they are going to judge us. And that is something that is depriving yourself from obtaining more information or reflecting or absorbing the information properly. So don't worry about what other people think and go beyond what you are observing and you are receiving. For example, I will give you a short story to see the importance of good questions. Two men are walking in the forest when suddenly an angry bear starts to chase them. Both break into a sprint. While they are running, one asks the other if he thinks they can outrun the bear and so survive. The other says, I don't need to outrun the bear. I just need to outrun you so that I can escape. So, asking better questions is something that is extremely important. The question that you should have asked is, can I outrun you so that I can save my life? Well, that's the key question. Coming up with good questions is an invaluable skill, and the more you do it, the more effective your thoughts are going to be, and the more engaged your mind is going to lead you to new insights, to new ideas, to be more creative, and to have even ineffective questions or vaguely formulated that can be obvious, but probably now you will distinguish between them. Whenever you are trying to develop an idea, don't stop and look also to the past and explore the rich history of ideas that other people have built upon that topic or problem. How did the past thinkers develop their ideas? What do you think they were thinking at the time that they did the invention or the discovery? For example, in 1970, a scientist working for the company 3M Laboratories, that is a company that made a lot of office products, tried to create a strong adhesive. What he came up with instead was a failure, an adhesive so weak that it could be peeled off from any surface, leaving no trace. The project was subsequently abandoned and labeled as a failure. What happened? After 15-20 years, then that project was taken up, and it turns out that this very weak adhesive came to be the foundation of the post-its that are used uh, worldwide in every office, in every home, and they are extremely helpful to just post or write snapshots of your ideas everywhere, if you want, and they don't leave this stain or trace of adhesive. That is the magic of the post-its. So an idea that was labeled as a failure was the most successful product for this company. Whenever you are trying to develop an idea, you should look, that's why, to the past and to the building of the ideas. Even Newton himself admitted that he was able to see further than other people because he would stood on the shoulder of giants. Newton and Leibniz took just a small, albeit crucial, step forward on the ideas of the past. So, and after them, even more ideas march on. So we open a portal when we are discovering something and when we don't just accept all the information that we are being given. The American mathematician R.H. Bing said that the time to work on a problem is after you have solved it. In other words, innovation, good or should never come to a halt, to a stop. As we saw in the previous information, every new idea is the source of another idea. They are being linked by something that your brain is creating. It's a train of thought that you are having, and thus you shouldn't stop thinking. Maintain the flow of ideas by seeing each new solution as just a waypoint, as just a portal to other destinations down the river that can lead to infinite possibilities in your mind. And of course, moving forward. So what is the main quote and how can we summarize in just one phrase how effective you can make your mind to think clearly? What distinguishes great thinkers from the average person is not the absence of a bad day or problem. It's the way a great thinker reacts to them when they occur. Thank you very much for paying attention, for being here in this Wednesday of wisdom. And if you like the information, if it resonates with you, if it is helpful, please help me to share it in your profiles and help me with a reaction or a comment. Thank you for your attention. And of course, if you want to know more about my programs and courses, please just go to the link below. Thank you and have a wonderful Wednesday afternoon. We will see each other and listen on next Wednesday. Bye.